Morning. I, Chair Chris Baier, call the hybrid meeting of the Board of Boiler Rolls for December 6, 2022 to order at 9:33 a.m. Debbie, would you please take roll?
Yes, sir. Chair Chris Baier,
Here.
he's present in the room. Roger Hendrix, Vice Chair.
Present. Virtual.
Roger. New member Kory Dunn.
Present. Virtual.
Thank you. Jason Anderson.
Present, virtual.
Ryan Garvey.
Present. Virtual.
Patrick Lamb.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you, Patrick. Paul Langley.
Present, virtual.
Curtis Martin.
Present virtual.
Mr. Chair, we do have a quorum.
Thanks, Debbie. At this time, is there any changes needed to the agenda or the order of business? Hearing none, I, Chair Chris Baier, roll the draft minutes of September 13th, 2022 final. The date of our next scheduled meeting is March 7th, 2023. There's a calendar attached to your info.
I think we jumped from the agenda to the minutes. I think we still need to.
Oh, shoot.
That's okay.
Sorry, guys, I skipped over the minutes. Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes of September 13th? Hearing none, I, Chair Baier, roll the draft minutes of September 13th, 2022 final. Covers this, right? All right, let's welcome new member. Our new member, Kory Dunn, has filled the position of the installation and repairs of boilers. His first four-year term began September 28th, 2022, and ends September 27th, 2026. Kory is a foreman at McDonald Miller Facility Solutions, working with fabrication of piping systems for refrigeration, steam, condenser water, hydronic heating, cooling, category M, and process piping. He verifies that all engineering and field design are adhering to national ASME and Oregon State piping, welding, and pressure vessel code requirements. Before that, he worked with the same type of piping for Charter Mechanical as a welder for 10 years. Kory is currently an apprenticeship and journeyman course instructor at UA Local 290, College of Mechanical Systems and Technology. Kory believes more than anything that safety is the most important aspect of all building codes development and application. Welcome aboard, Kory. Nice to have you.
I am honored to be a member. Thank you very much.
Great. And also, on a little more sad note, a formal farewell to Blake Alexander. Blake filled the board position of installation and repair of boilers since October 1st, 2010, until he recommended Kory Dunn. Blake has been instrumental in a wealth of knowledge for our new and old members of the Board of Boiler Rolls. He has served as a past board chair, member of Code Committee, and sat on the other committees with the division. In his almost 15 years of service on the board, he has always showed an interest in protecting and preserving the safety of health of all Oregonians. With his experience in the pipe fitting industry, his skills as a welder, Blake has always proved to be an asset to the Board of Boiler Rolls. We will all miss you, Blake. Thank you very much, Blake. Okay. This time I'll ask Ian to address public comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ian Paik, analyst with the division. We did not receive any requests for general public comment. However, I would like to leave the line open for just a moment in case there is anyone in the Zoom that would like to provide general public comment. Hearing none, Mr. Chair, that concludes general public comment.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, Mr. Clark, would you give us a boiler program update?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. This is Tom Clark, Boiler Program Chief. Just a couple things to address today. First, we'll take a look at the boiler program stats that you've all been handed as part of your packet. We've got data for 3 months, and numbers are slowly trending upwards for the state. That is, as we'll touch on next, we have 2 vacancies in our program and have had them for most of the year. We're also starting to see numbers, at least in the last month, trend upwards on the insurance side as well. It could be as we get into the colder months that internal inspections aren't able to be done. We also see a bit of a slowdown due to holiday vacations and things like that. So otherwise, they're currently holding fairly consistent. The state is up to 22%, and the insurance average is now 21% as of the end of November. As I mentioned earlier, we currently have 2 vacancies within the program. We have kind of struggled to fill these positions. Everyone's struggling to fill positions. I don't feel like that's anything unique to us, but we have one of the positions filled, and the inspector will start early next year, I believe, the beginning of February. They're a commissioned inspector, so they should be able to hit the ground running. And then we are actively recruiting for the other vacant position, which closes, I believe, tomorrow, and hopefully we can get interviews done before the holidays. The only other thing I wanted to touch on was just an update on something we brought to you a while back, which was kind of the question we had regarding pressure vessels for human occupancy and whether or not we should be lowering our exemption criteria to match that of the scope of ASME's PVH01 as directed by the board, I believe 2 meetings ago. We held a rulemaking advisory committee meeting, and unfortunately, no one attended. So we didn't feel like we had enough information to move forward at this point, and it's kind of moved to the back burner while we look for new paths forward. And unless there are any questions, I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, moving on. No communications, no appeals, no unfinished business. Ian, will you discuss the recommendation for continuing education?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ian Paik, analyst with the division. This continuing education cycle, the CE committee received 7 applications from 3 organizations. This cycle, the committee recommends 3 courses for approval, 1 course for denial, and 3 instructors for approval. This agenda item will require a motion, examples of which are included in your packet. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Any discussion? This will require a motion. Can I get a motion to approve the committee recommendations for approval or denial of the courses of instructors?
This is Jason Anderson. I move to approve the committee's recommendations for approval of the courses.
Thank you. Deb, will you take a roll call vote?
Yes, sir. Kory Dunn? Yay or nay?
Yay.
Jason Anderson?
Yay.
Ryan Garvey?
Yay.
Patrick Lamb?
Yay.
Paul Langley?
Yay.
Curtis Martin?
Yay.
Vice Chair Roger Hendrix?
Yay.
And Chair Chris Baier.
Yay.
Mr. Chair, the motion passes unanimously.
Thanks, Debbie. Okay, our next item is discussion jurisdictional internal inspection and extension request. Ian, will you introduce that?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ian Paik, analyst with the division. This is a jurisdictional internal inspection extension request received from Dyno Noble for an F602 steam boiler. This agenda item will require a motion, examples of which are included in your agenda packet. Mr. Herrera, a static equipment engineer, will be testifying on Dyno Noble's behalf. Mr. Herrera, are you here and would you like to speak on your agenda item? Thank you.
Yes, this is Matthew Herrera, static equipment engineer for Dunn & Nobel. I wanted to thank the board for hearing our request today. So I've submitted some paperwork for you guys to review. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at that, but unfortunately, there was some miscommunication on our part in the past. There was another static equipment engineer in this role before me, and there was a misunderstanding on when that request needed to be input for an extension. And so we are currently overdue for our internal. The last internal that we had completed was in 2020 by Mr. Steve Goring of FM Global, our jurisdictional inspector. And at that time, we did not find any issues that would warrant us to not operate that boiler safely. And we have continued to perform our external inspections, our ultrasonic testing, water quality testing, low water fuel cutoff alarm testing, and all of the standard things that you would do to make sure that you're operating safely. As far as we can tell, it's my opinion that we are operating in a safe manner with that boiler. We do have a turnaround, a plant-wide turnaround coming up in January on the 16th. So just about a little bit over a month away from now. We would like to request an extension on our internal to next month. We realize that's only a month away, but we wanted to be transparent with the board of our situation and try to do the right thing. So.
Thank you, Mr. Herrera. Does anybody have any questions about this?
Through the chair, this is Roger Hendrix. The only question I have is I noticed some damage in the photos on the mudroom, which I doubt are that big a deal, but it did stop me and make me think about the damage to that. Is there plans to repair that mudroom, or is that just standard operating damage?
Can you specify where that damage was that you're referring to?
I can. It would take me a couple minutes to navigate the emails and everything. Give me a minute and I'll get there.
Okay. In 2020, we replaced all of the fire tubes. We replaced the inlet tube sheet with 1 1/4 chrome. We did a full internal inspection at that time. And we, as well, the outlet channel was replaced with a 1 1/4 chrome outlet channel to reduce our risk of HTHA damage. Refractory was all reinstalled at the end of those repairs. And I'm not aware of any other damage other than those issues that we addressed back in 2020.
Yeah, sorry, through the chair, this is Roger Hendrix again. Looks like on the submitted report is on page 6 of 7. So I don't know if you have that report in front of you.
I'm pulling it up right now. This is the F602 internal inspection report.
The AP, sorry, I'm having to bounce between the meeting and my email on my phone. This was for the API 510 pressure vessel internal inspection report by Dyno Noble or Nobel.
Yes, I see what you're referring to. Yeah, the mechanical damage, 0.120 inch. Near, it looks like there's a baffle there.
Yep.
Yeah, so all of the damage, any type of mechanical damage or corrosion, we looked at that back in 2020 and determined that we were still well above T-man in any area. So no action was required at that time with that.
Thank you. No further questions.
Mr. Chair, this is Jason Anderson. I have a question for Chief Clark. If he has any concerns about the safety or performance of the boiler based off of the 2020 inspection.
Through the chair, thank you, Mr. Anderson. No, I don't have any concerns. The only reason we didn't approve this extension is that it was applied for after the date at which it could be submitted. But I have no reservations based on what I've seen from the documentation provided.
Thank you, Chief Clark. My other question I have is, has this particular boiler ever been past due for inspection?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. I have no further questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Herrera, the only questions I had was, I like, you did a lot of NDE, and it looks like you did a pretty good thorough survey of UT thicknesses. I wish you would have included your data report, though, so I had something to compare it to what's required. So, to your knowledge, none of those dimensions are encroaching on min wall thickness?
No. And I'd be happy to send that over to you. I'm sorry I didn't send that in the original package, but we have the original P3, and we have nominal thickness included in there for the shells, the water wall tubes, and all of the dimensions that I think you would be interested in are in there.
Excellent, thanks. So the next question I have is, why do you want to go through this after the fact when you're just going to come down next month and hopefully FM can come in and give you your internal inspection, you're back in good standing?
Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, part of the reason for this was just for us to be transparent with you guys, that, you know, we are overdue and we're trying to make an effort to correct that issue. The other reason is so that we'd be in compliance with our insurance and continue to have coverage for our boiler.
Gotcha, I can appreciate that. Any other further questions? Do you have anything to add from the technical side? Okay. Okay, if there's no further questions, does anybody want to put a motion to either approve or deny or amend the request?
This is Pat Lamb. I do have a question.
Yeah.
Who's operating this boiler and what is their qualifications?
Yes, this is, so Dino Nobel in St. Helens is the owner operator of the boiler. My qualifications are I'm an NBIC inspector, currently not valid, but I was for 10 years, commissioned AI in both California and Hawaii. I have about 20 years of experience in the petrochem industry, working specifically with pressure vessels, piping, and boilers.
Okay, but who's operating the boiler and what is their qualifications?
Well, we have our operators that are trained on how to operate that boiler at the plant. As far as their qualifications, I would have to get back to you on that. I don't know specifically if they have some kind of certifications or something that they've passed.
That'd be my worry. It's out of inspection for, what, 2 years now? And so if there was a situation that came up, I was just wondering who's running it.
Right.
Do they know what to do?
Yeah, we have standard operating procedures on how to address the different issues. So all of our operators are very well trained in our our process and our procedures. We have guys that have 20+ years working at the plant, at that specific plant with that boiler.
That's all.
Chair, I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Do these operators have any sort of certification deemed by the state to be qualified individuals to operate and or maintain this equipment?
No. There's no qualification given by the state. All the state requires it is a competent person. I don't know how we define a competent person, though.
That was
Suitably trained.
my intent with the
Suitably trained.
question. How are they established as a competent person?
Yeah, so I just got a message from my supervisor. We are regulated by PSM and RPM, and our operators are recertified annually in their specific units. So there is a continuing, education and ensuring that the operators are competent with the equipment they're working with.
And finally, are these operators also responsible for the maintenance, day-to-day maintenance for this equipment?
We have a separate maintenance group. Operators do their daily rounds, and they will do a low water fuel blowdown to check the alarms. But as far as maintenance work, we have a separate maintenance crew that does that. Or if there is any welding or anything like that, we bring in our stamp certified company to help us with that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no further questions. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, hearing no more further questions, still need a motion.
Mr. Chair, this is Roger Hendrix.
Yeah.
I move to grant the extension. We're only a month out anyway. It sounds like they're having a full down. So formally, I'd like to move to grant the extension to, I believe the date was January 21st. Is that correct, Mr. Herrera?
January 16th is our first maintenance day. Yeah.
Sorry, so amend that to January 16th. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
Through the chair, this is Chief Clark. I'd just like to make a suggestion. Typically, when we issue inspection due dates, we set it for the last day of the month. Just to allow a little flexibility for Dyno Nobel, I'd recommend making it the 31st.
Through the chair, I have no problem with that.
Noted. Debbie, would you?
Yes, sir. Kory Dunn,
Yay.
Jason Anderson,
Yay.
Ryan Garvey,
Yay.
Patrick Lamb.
Hey,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Patrick? Yay
that's a
or
no.
nay?
Hey,
Thank you. Paul Langley,
Yay.
Curtis Martin,
Yay.
Vice Chair Roger Hendrix,
Yay.
Chair Chris Baier.
No.
Mr. Chair, the motion passes.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time, mister.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on, Local 290 Training Center requested some help in some expired classes. Ian, would you please present this?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ian Paik, analyst with the division. Local 290 Training Center is requesting help with expired classes that are not code change classes. The request is included in your agenda packet, which lists the courses they're requesting an extension for. Depending on the board's decision, this item may require a motion, which the division can help word. Thank you.
Do we have any discussion on this?
Mr. Chair, this is Roger Hendrix.
Thank you.
We've run into this before. I've been on the board now 8 years. And seems like memory serves that generally when we run up against this, that we don't necessarily have to grant an extension on any classes, but the classes are just approved retroactively after they've been resubmitted to the Continuing Education Review Committee for approval. The other thing I noticed in the first 4 parts of that were not code related is 2, maybe 3 of those classes were nationally accredited courses. So you had ASSE, you had OSHA, and I don't recall the other 2 off the top of my head without the packet in front of me. But anyway, I know that also throughout the course of my time on the board that we've allowed nationally accredited courses to basically be approved without a whole lot of scrutiny, if you will. So I don't know if an extension is necessarily required or if they just need to maybe apply for approval of the courses or submit the attendees retroactively once they do resubmit all their courses.
Thanks for the clarification, Roger. I am kind of, this probably isn't the place, but I don't really see how ASSE water quality program and COVID pertain to our boiler program license, but that's just me. Other than that, I don't feel there's anything out of line in the request. Anybody have any more comments or questions? I see Dominic's on. Does anybody have any specific questions for Dominic, or does Dominic want to talk?
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to talk. Thank you. We had a miscommunication together that Becky and I have addressed to make sure that something like this doesn't happen again. And I apologize. And I do appreciate the opportunity to speak to the board. We know that there's a code cycle coming up, and we have hundreds, if not thousands, of members that we're providing continuing education to. And we just want to make sure that we're able to continue with our program and offer the education that all of our members need.
Thanks, Dominic.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to speak.
Any more questions?
Mr. Chair, this is Jason Anderson. I have a question regarding the some of the code changes for the ASME B31.5 and 31.9 post 2018 when these were initially approved. There have been code changes. How does the applicant propose to handle those code changes in the continuing education?
All of our classes, when we put them together, we don't cite specific codes to specific years, but cite that they will be taught to the current code to make sure that we're not, that when we go through to recertify these, we have that ability to continue even when the code changes don't line up. So we don't specifically name a particular thing, but we teach to the code.
Any further questions?
No, Mr. Chair.
Hearing none. Anybody want to put a motion to approve the request?
Motion to approve.
Thanks, Ryan. Debbie, would you please take a vote?
Yes, sir. Kory Dunn,
Yay.
Jason Anderson,
Yay.
Ryan Garvey,
Yay.
Patrick Lamb,
Yay.
Paul Langley,
Yay.
Curtis Martin,
Yay.
Vice Chair Roger Hendrix,
No.
Chair Chris Baier.
Yay.
Mr. Chair, the motion passes.
Thank you, Debbie. Okay. This time, there's no further business, and the meeting is adjourned at 10:05 a.m.
Thank you, everyone.
Did I miss anything?
Mr. Herrera, if you're still on the line, and any of the representatives from FM Global, just wanted to let you know, I will go into the system and change that inspection due date here today. So you should see that new date ready for you when you go to do the inspection. It will be 1/31/23.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chief. I appreciate that.
Thank you.